welcome back. Oh my gosh, we're like super close to episode 20. Like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
That is amazing. And also all the support that we've been getting with I was going to say with just 20, but I guess we aren't even at 20 though. So dang, that's crazy. Yeah, when I saw that I was
Yeah.
like 18 what?
Yeah. It's the
That's
most
fire.
consistent I've been on something in a very long time.
Girl, no, for
Not a
real.
passion project.
No, actually. No, not only that, way y'all don't know. So we had a meeting. What was that, Saturday? I don't even remember when we met. And we both was like, oh my God, this is really becoming a business. Like it's becoming a thing that we're like fully invested in and have to like meet and plan. And even just now, I was like, oh, I have some updates. I'll give it to you after. Like it's so many things. So no, it's becoming a thing. We really love y'all. It made it out the group chat.
Yeah. Staying out the group chat too.
Because that's the key. Your stuff can make it out, but it's like, can it stay out? Like, baby, because,
Right.
oof. Yes. If y'all want us to continue, you have to engage.
Yeah. You put it out on the internet sometimes. It's kind of like, now we put it out enough that it's like, it would be embarrassing not to continue.
Actually, no, wait, let's pause there for 22 seconds because I think that is so true. So much of it, at some point, it becomes, well, no, now it'll be publicly shameful if we don't do it. So it's like, dang, what happened to that? And every time you feel like, in all seriousness, every time you even feel a little bit of like, is it going to, not necessarily about this, because I actually haven't felt that way, but I just mean generally, you'll be thinking like, oh, is it not going to do great? Or maybe we should just back up or something. And then you get some feedback. Or like every day somebody new finds it or something. And then it's just like oh, dang, no. Like actually you can't get discouraged by anything because you don't even be knowing all the micro things that are happening when you just consistently put forth effort. So yeah, you straight just got to stick it out.
We're here now. What are you navigating, Raven?
We haven't done that in so long. Oh my gosh. For the sake of this not being
gotta tighten up.
We do. We clearly do. Because people don't even, how you gonna change the format before people get to know the format? What am I navigating? I don't even know if I should put this here, but nevertheless, I'm gonna just do it. And if we so happen to have fuller discussion about it later, then that's totally fine. But I have been inundated in this diaspora or resurfacing of the diaspora conversations with Tyla situation happening on the internet. Mostly because I am just an internet junkie, but also because I am fascinated by how I feel like people's perspectives and takes on it is not necessarily right. And just for context, Tyla has been, and I'll say how it applies to me in 2 seconds, but Tyla has been getting a lot of backlash because her album only sold like 3,000 copies. And so it's just been a lot of conversations around, well, did it only undersell it like that because of all the controversy she went through last year with Black Americans and and our response, the devil? And our response to it. And anyway, why that's something I'm personally navigating is because obviously with everything going on in our political climate with Trump and how that impacts the whole world, specifically Black and Black adjacent countries, it always kind of scares me when we're not in alignment as much as possible, especially publicly, with all the drama that we're getting, like, so Congo, Palestinian, it's just so much global atrocities right now happening with Black and brown people. And so I be hating when we arguing, but also though, it's worthy conversations being had about colorism and exhaustion with racially ambiguous people being able to cosplay in and out of Black culture. And so I'm navigating that because I'm deep, and that's just kind of what I'm thinking through these last 2 days. So, yeah.
Where's Tyla from?
Oh my gosh, she calls it Joburg. I didn't know that they call it Joburg. That's so cute, Johannesburg. But anyway, yeah, South Africa, Johannesburg. Yeah, she from there, but what she said, I'm Irish, I'm an Indian, I'm let me stop.
She's not black.
She said
Okay, cool.
she
You don't want to claim us. All right, all right, okay.
no, she said she was mixed with a lot of things. She's a I'm a
Yeah,
dog.
she got apartheid issues happening. She
she,
got some deep
she's a
seated
no. In all
root
seriousness,
issues.
yeah, that's she's a child of
Yeah,
apartheid. That's legitimately what it is.
yeah,
She's a child of apartheid. Which, and guess what? That is a complicated existence, right? Like Trevor Noah has a whole special about the complexities of being a child of apartheid. So it's not judgment there. It was just, in my view, educate yourself when you enter into another arena and expect especially in the era that she came up in, this is a really, really racially tense time. Not to say America don't just historically isn't that way, but it's a racially tense time. So I'm sorry, you have to be more versed. And I guess my only take would just be the day of the socially unaware pop star is just done. We like our pop stars aware now. And like you,
yeah.
and guess what? You can be mad at that all day long, but then go somewhere else and see if you pop off with
Mm-hmm.
the people who don't have those expectations. Oh wait, but you can't. So it's almost kind of like if you want us to play ball, then you got to play by our rules. And if you don't, well then take your music elsewhere and get up. But nobody want to do that. Just make us cool. Shut up and make us cool, you consumers. No, no. And that's what people mad about. No, the racially ambiguous girl who can't sing and dance, sorry, who was made in the lab, sorry, we just not accepting it outright no more.
Right.
Girl, anyway, that's my take. I'm done with it.
I will nuance that because that's exactly what I want to talk about. So,
Perfect, perfect.
um, before we get there, what am I navigating?
Hmm.
My little human is really surprising me every day. I think I just love being a mother at this point. She is just first, first of all, she cares nothing about what you got going on. We know this. Babies do not
Yeah,
care. I
yeah.
get through with a workout yesterday. I come upstairs. She wants to. You know how the dogs be having zoomies. she wants to. She wants me to chase her back and forth throughout the house, and
Now
I'm just
she has
like,
the
girl, I
zoomies.
already had my workout. She don't care. She just running back and forth, crying, laughing, like, and then she's like waiting for me, like, you gonna go get me. So she's just growing up, and she was saying juice
Yeah.
yesterday, and I was like, "You said juice?" She's like, "Juice." You said juice. I'm just like, oh my god, she's saying words. And then I googled that babies don't typically like start. I mean, she says words, but she doesn't start. They don't start talking. I guess talking until 18 to 24 months. So I'm like,
Oh
we could
yeah.
be speaking gibberish for another 9 months. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I mean, I'm learning her language, but also I'm ready for some more. Trying to be present. I'm trying to be present. Trying to be present. But I would like to know what she's talking about. Like,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm
Yeah.
navigating. Sometimes I look at her like she's a complete stranger, and then other times I'm just like, oh wow, look at you, like you're doing things. So
I actually appreciate you
yeah,
reflecting on it like that though, because what that when you hear about momhood and see moms doing it, it just seems like this everyday grind and just everyday like thing happening. So you don't really get to hear, at least I don't, because I don't really, whatever. So like, I love to hear moms reflect on like, no, actually, I'm shocked too when I hear her say words. And when she does something, I feel the same, like I'm watching the incremental growth. I guess what I'm just saying is, because y'all see them every day, I be wondering if it hits the same like that too. But I guess y'all have the first two, because every time I see her, or like the other day, I think I said, I was like, that's a kid. I was like, oh, look, Tyla's a kid now. Like, you so used to seeing her as a baby. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, she likes a kid. And so it'd be like a whoa, but I guess y'all have that whoa too, even though y'all see her every day. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I get surprised too, and we like, especially when we like, where did she go, Raven? Where are you? Yeah, I was also saying that we went to this like seeing her interact with other kids is like also like heartwarming because I'm like, wow, like
Mm-hmm.
kids be acting different in front of their parents, but when she's around kids, she do know how to act, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right,
Mm-hmm.
you are gentle because I be nervous.
You are
You
gentle.
you
You are
act with me, so
gentle. I can't
yeah,
wait. Honestly,
yeah. She be,
you know what?
I get
Kids be
abused on
feeling
it.
most comfortable around their mom. They feel comfortable around y'all. I think that'd be what it is. They feel so comfortable around y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. Pray for my mouth literally because she grabs my lips and she like grabs my mouth and like, and I be having cuts in my mouth. I'm like, girl, gentle hands. Oh, that's what it is. Like I be doing the gentle hand thing, but she actually listen. I'm like, show me gentle hands. She'd be like, good job. But girl, before we get to gentle hands, I'm like,
It's
girl,
cuts.
chill out, please.
Girl, first of all, not my daughter be cutting my mouth like that's like just the sound of that is hilarious.
Girl,
Yeah, she be cutting my mouth up.
I be flinching like, am I about to get hit?
Aww. I love that though. Come on, daughter. Come on, firstborn daughter. Love that for her.
I'm trying so hard not to make her a typical firstborn daughter. I'm trying.
Listen, lean in, lean in, lean in. Here go, lean in, lean in. Just lean in.
Trying
She
to
gonna
break
get
the
it
generation
honest.
curses.
Because there are some beautiful things about eldest daughters. There just are. And like, and I think, yeah, I think the two can exist at the same time. I think she can be forward thinking and you know, innovative and leader, all of those things. And also you can like, you can cultivate that and also have conversations around, as I have no kids, so let's be clear, but
I mean, therapist,
but also
please.
that's okay. Yeah, I be wanting, because I promise you, I struggle so much with it, but I also read like I read a lot about this stuff, and I've talked to parents all day long about the same stuff. But yeah, you can. I think you can do two things at once, like make her thoughtful and a leader, of course, because that's just naturally what she gonna bleed out anyway. Like meaning be, but then consistently have conversations with her early on and continuing, just about what it looks like to be like. And also, you know that, and matter of fact, forget conversations. Well, don't forget conversations, but also in real time doing practices like, um, you just casually make it like a casual thing. Like, how have you took care of yourself this week? Because I know you've been doing a lot, and I know ambition is big for you. But what are the ways that you this week? I'm taking everything. Like we be so accustomed to punishing our kids, but how about like, no, I'm taking phone because I want to see you practice blah 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 this week, and I want to see the way that you do it, or whatever. You get what I mean? Like, I don't know. So just enforcing, just as much as we enforce rules, also enforcing things that help buck up against that pressure filled environment that eldest daughters oftentimes go straight to. So yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm
Yeah.
listening. I'm sitting at the because I'm I'm the baby. So
You are. I love. Here go. What y'all life be like?
yeah, we get to look at all the things that our oldest siblings did and do the opposite, or the most beneficial things. Well, that's what I did, and
Yeah, no, that's real.
I'm grateful.
That's real. That is what they do. Like take a I'm gonna take a little bit of that. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna take a little bit of that. I'm gonna leave that. And it's crazy because that is my little brother is
Literally.
like the epitome of exactly that. He like was like, and even to this day he'll be like, like he can articulate all the things that he did that specifically. And when you look at him and have conversations with him, you be like, you really are a mixture of all of our best qualities. Like it's beautiful actually. So that's cool.
Yeah, I can point to many things that my sister's done, or like that, like even my cousins have taught me that have literally shaped everything that I am. Like, yeah,
That's sweet.
so I'm
I
grateful for
love
the
that so much.
sacrifice.
So here at WOTA, you know, we have to start, you be saying it a lot, actually. I got to start saying it more so that it can just feel, you know, it only becomes normalized when you normalize it. So here at WOTA, we navigate through things that impact Black women, even though more recently, and Morgan, you've been saying this too recently, we are really becoming like a Black pod, just a Black specific pod, but we're never going to abandon our essence. So I kind of like that always being, I like our tag still just being Black women specific, but I like that you've been bringing that up. And like all the people that's potentially been in the audience that's been like, oh, this just feels like Black specific. We're not telling you to leave. We're just saying no, that the essence of our hearts are Black women. Anyway, here at WOTA Pod, we love Black women and we talk about all the things related to Black women, our health, our faith, our socioeconomic perspectives and standing in the world, all of the things. And I'm going to memorize our tag again because it's been a minute since I've actually had to say it. But until that time, hope you enjoy. And also, Morgan, what is on the agenda today?
I actually appreciate you saying like the Black people part, because this topic, I'm just kind of like, it started kind of with the Cardi B and Samira incident on TikTok. And then this past couple days, the clip with Joe Budden and Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. Did you see that? Yeah, girl.
I did. I'm so glad this is organic because let's talk. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you was talking about Tyla and us not wanting non-woke people anymore. Like, and I'm like, at what point do we start leaving people behind? Because the comments of like, specifically with like, okay, so starting with Cardi B and Samira. Cardi B and Samira, if you are not aware, Cardi B is Cardi B. Samira is a activist who focuses on body inclusivity, body positivity, dismantling fat phobia. A lot of her platform is about trying to get brands to like understand like, hey, you're actually not size inclusive, because the sizing that we think is inclusive is not actually inclusive to bigger bodies. And then also trying to get like, we're seeing this reversal of like plus size being taken out of stores, and then plus size clothes being ugly and all this stuff, and we have nowhere to shop, and we shouldn't have to wear florals and ugly clothes and blah blah blah, and how that's fatphobic and how that's rooted in racism and all the things. And Cardi B makes a flat out just mean comment to her fans, that they fat and they brought up all her stuff and y'all need to stop eating and blah 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 blah. And it was just a back and forth, and it caused Samira to end up just pausing and getting off the internet for a while, because Cardi B's fans were just like coming at her. It was causing like this back and forth between like big versus big. Like, it's not that serious big versus it's very serious. And while you're trying to, Cardi B, say that you only care about police brutality and all this and all that, you maybe should read the books that Samira told you about, because one of the books she did tell her to read, which was Deshaun Harrison's book that we talked about on this platform before, of
Belly of
what's
the
the book
Beast.
called? Belly of the Beast. And actually the premise of that book is about how not only beauty politics, but how Black men who are bigger are more likely to be harmed by police violence, which is something that Cardi B is supposedly against. And my thoughts with that was just like, yeah, at a certain point, like, you have to expand your depth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just hang your, like, now I'm gonna say this. I do believe that we can't fight every single fight. That doesn't mean you don't understand all the fights. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand you have to understand that all oppression is connected. And you have to understand how different bodies show up and all the things, intersectionality. So just hanging my coat on, I'd rather watch a documentary about how they wanted to wipe out Black people. I think she was talking about Katrina, Cardi B. Like, we can't keep just ignoring certain parts of oppression and racism, right? And then I'm watching the clip of Dr. Marc Lamont Hill on Joe Budden's podcast talk about his colleagues who have been murdered in Gaza, and they just flipped to, in other news, Young Thug, right? Literally, Like, not even my condolences, not even a moment of silence, not even. And then Melissa Ford, like, well, when he talks like that, like, we don't know where to pivot to, like, we don't know where to go from that. The problem is we are no longer needing to pivot. Like, at some point, certain things are just, we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about Young Thug right now. Hey, at certain points, like, and I'm using Young Thug because that's Joe Budden turned to, but at a certain point in history, there is a moment where we have to pause and be like, okay, what are we doing? Because there is no pivot. The pivot is to the oppression. The pivot is to liberation. And it's like, I think, and there's a lot of debate in the comments of like, why is he there? And I get why he might be there. Like, he's trying to free the people because Joe Budden has one of the biggest podcasts that probably reach a lot of Black people. However, at some point, we have to realize we are talking to the blind, we are talking to the deaf. And I remember one time somebody was like, because this is not the first comment that has like a argument between Dr. Marc Lamont and one of them on the podcast. Somebody was like, what's really funny is he ain't even flexed his PhD yet. Like, he ain't even did the work yet. And the thing is, I think what he's trying to do is a slow movement of like, if I can just engage them a little bit over time, they'll understand. But at some point, people in the revolution start reading books and they start getting educated. And I'm not saying education formally in the four walls of an institution, but they start getting educated and they start trying to figure out, dang, these people might be right. Let me learn a little bit more. And at some point, it's just kind of like, they're not trying to learn. And my question is, do we, or at what point do we start leaving the enslaved behind? Because our good sis Harriet said, I could have freed more if they knew they were enslaved. That's what I bring to the consensus. To the
You
table.
just summarized that so perfectly. So shout out to you. I think we found our title that fast, because I ain't gonna lie, I want that might be, ooh, that's good. First, I really have just two thoughts to what you said. The first one is, guys, let's just make peace with, it's not about cancel culture or dismissing people or not being able to have a good time. It's about, as a culture, we've now evolved to the extent that we understand pain and oppression and offensiveness in a way that we just hadn't been able to in the past, because as time progresses, people become more progressive and nuanced in thought. And so as a result of that, we were able to develop a culture that now can be more sensitive to things that we were incapable of seeing in the past. Because I want us to go ahead and cancel this whole concept of cancel culture or dismissing people or folks just too sensitive these days. We're smarter these days. Full stop. And obviously everything comes with implications and consequences that you didn't necessarily prepare for. But ultimately, I'd much rather live in a world where people are smarter and more adept about the things and people around them rather than less. Like, let's stop. I'm just so tired of, we want progression. Everybody, the same people that cry about it are the same people that's championing AI and championing all the technological advancements we make. You can't live in a world and expect regression or stagnation and be mad when in every way we're progressing. That also means in how we think about oppression and pain and harm caused to people. Get over it or get up out. Because if it's one thing, since y'all so smart, we all are evolutionists in one regard or not. And at the end of the day, either evolve or what's the evolution? That's the basic fundamental of evolution. Either you adapt or you die. Mutate or die. That's got to get cut. Anyway. Like, seriously, why are y'all trying to hold on to, okay, we used to be able to call people fat in public. So what? Get out. Leave. You need to leave. I don't care. And also, people, we used to like normalize eating disorders and things like that too. Aren't we happy that that's like, come on, like so there's that. Let's make peace with that. Secondly, my thought to what you said is, I don't think he should leave. Marc Lamont, I mean. And we can talk the nuances of everything. I just want, since you approached it like that. I don't think Marc Lamont should leave though, because I actually don't think you leave people behind on a collective level. I think individually, we can decide in our interpersonal lives, like who is dragging you back. That's just such a nuance, and it's at people's discretion, because the circumstances by which Black people have been in the gutter and left behind, and with regard to culturedness and knowledge and their willingness and even ability to learn and get more information, it's so tattered and marred with so much stuff that's out of their control. And so I just can't feasibly and ethically say leave folks behind on a macro level. But what I can say is, yes, so make that decision for yourself personally, because you know that if you have to advance, and these people in your family, your friendships, whatever, aren't willing to go with you, and not only are unwilling to go with you, but are actively harming and impeding your ability to move forward, your girl or your boy or whomever, make that decision for yourself. But on a collective level, Marc needs to be there, because you're right. Like in One Voice, we say it was the biggest platform. So that means out of every 100 people, it's got to be at least 5. And that may be being generous, or I may be being too liberal. I don't know. But it's got to be at least 5 that are just ignorant out of just sheer ignorance, and not out of, I don't give a hell, ignorant, or, you know what I mean? Like, don't care. And I just think they are worth saving, even in the midst of the 95 idiots. And that sounds crazy, but that's how you get to revolutions. A lot of times revolutions were made actually just with the 10% that just were willing to be loud, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was even a part of the conversation with like Samira, was that she's annoying. Like, she's always talking about fat stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's literally what activists do, sweetheart. We fight for the liberation of the people who don't even know that they are in shackles, right? And I think, so I give Marc that credit, right? That the man probably got to pray. Like, if I just had to assume, maybe he got to pray to get on the show, like, every morning. You know what I'm saying? He got to record with these people Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like, and it's like, maybe he's just like, Lord, for the greater good. For the greater good. But I'm like, can we get a spinoff, Marc? We would love to hear your thoughts fully without like foolishness attached to it. You know what I'm saying?
He has a show.
For real.
And also, he has a show.
No, I don't.
I was just saying.
No, I don't.
Yeah. No, it's, watch his show. No, he do, because he has a show. Yeah, go ahead though.
Okay. Okay. So then I was thinking about cancel culture. Like, I'm not a cancel culturist. I do believe in, I was gonna say reproductive. I believe in restorative justice, right? And I believe that my boss has revolutionized my whole like thought process. She'd be like, we call in, not call out. You know how the woke Black women be. And I'm just like, you're right. We call in, right? And after a certain point in restorative justice, and in the biblical practice of like, oh, dust your feet off after they have rejected you enough times. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kind of like, where do we sit with that, right? Where do we sit with that? Because yeah, all right.
Ain't got the blood of Jesus to whomever that was. I didn't know you could hear it. I didn't know you could. Yeah, me too. I was like, but no, blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. Continue.
I'm just sitting. So I guess like you said, on an interpersonal level, yeah, like if they are impeding your like ability to think, move freely, blah blah, do your work, blah, move on. And on the collective, I'm just like, what do we have to subject ourselves to in order to get the 10% to like, because I'm just, I feel for my brother. I do, sitting on that podcast. I really do feel for him. And I'm just like, brother, dust your feet off. But if you feel called to this, preacher.
If you feel called. I think you're so right. It requires such a philosophical framework shift, right? Maybe a pivoting back to the days of old, like the civil rights era, and even times past or times prior to that. But because we've been progressing so much as a society in the West, particularly, we, even as Black Americans, especially as Black Americans, we just move more and more closely to individualism thinking or individualistic thinking. I'm not even saying that it's necessarily bad all the way, especially because Black people have experienced so much negativity, so much struggle that, you know, we said on the podcast all the time, the Black people who be like, actually, I tap out, count me out, I don't want to join in. As much as that can personally make me angry, I don't judge. I don't be like, oh, but you need to get back in, because I do feel like we do have collaborative responsibility, right? You know, collective responsibility. I believe in that wholeheartedly. And also, you can't be a real historian or a person who cares about history and then bash Black people for choosing to have a hands-off approach. I don't do that. I think it's just bad politics considering all the things we've gone through. So as a result of that, I respect the people who just be like, no, I'm out. But then also the people who be like, no, I know what the costs are. I know how exhaustive it's going to be. I know how taxing it'll be mentally on me. I'm going to set boundaries, and I'm going to hopefully implement better practices than what previous generations did when they chose to stay in the fight, chose to keep trying to go rescue the 10%. Hopefully you get better practices of self-care and all of that. But ultimately, I'm still going to be out here in it because I just see the worth. Like, people who choose the collective route and people who choose the individual route, I have no judgment for either. I may have thoughts, but I just have no judgment. Because you're right, though. All that to say, I couldn't imagine being on that pod and like just the amount of intellectual, what else? Like weight, like how much it just, I'm sure just be feeling like it just weights. What you say?
Wait, like, girl. My mentor, Dr. Bond, said the lack of intellectual curiosity.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That 100%. I'm just saying, like, how he probably just be feeling like his words just literally fall into a mosh, like a hole.
To
like
the swine.
Yeah. Come on, scripture. Come on. Yeah. Casting your pearls to the swine, if you didn't know. But yeah, no. And so that's what I'm saying. That's got to be exhausting for him. But like I said, he does have, I think his show is called Night School. Also, yeah, just for context, his show is called Night School, and he does expound. He has guests on. Like, yeah, it's a whole thing. But actually, okay, so if I can mention the specifics of it for a second, because I do think that is worthy of just discussion. He said, all of my colleagues. Do you understand what that has to all? Guys, look up the word all. I'm just playing. No, but seriously, all of his journalist colleagues have been murdered. The level of pause that would bring, and even to the extent that you say, well, no, that's just how Black people respond. They respond in jest when there is tragedy. That is fair. And I am going to give them that. And also, though, we're 50. Everybody in that room is either pushing 50 or close to 50 or in there enough. I'm not even saying they had to spend the whole episode on that. Fine, because I heard what you said and I agree with that. But even if I go ahead and say no, they didn't have to spend the episode on it, at a very minimum, I just, the maturity, like, come on, let's just bump it up just a little bit. Like, I don't know. I mean, I have no real deep thoughts about it. It just hurt me so bad. Like, oh, wait, one last thing. Sorry, one last thing. It was one episode a while ago where Marc was like, all the castmates had mentioned that he had been coming in a little differently. And I think I might have told you this, but he was coming in a little differently, and his countenance just have changed. It seemed sadder and all of that. And then Marc was like, I mean, I don't want to be like that. And he was like, Bridges, what's wrong? Tell us what's going on. And then he kind of opened up just a tad. And he was like, my mom's sick. Or no, I think his mom's like blind or something. His wife's parents are aging, and so they're getting sick too. So he has to figure out care for them. He has to figure out care for his parents. He was saying that his one of his brothers is locked up, so his money is being expended in so many different places. And so, like, even he was like, the more money you make, it just costs more money to make money, essentially. And he was just saying this is how it came up, because he was saying that he was experiencing some low level depression. And they was like, Marc, why you depressed? What? Like, what you got to be depressed about? And so that's when he started going through the things he's going through interpersonally. And then they was like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Okay. Like, it was the same kind of a thing. It was just so fast forward to right now, listening to him talk about his colleagues being killed like this. It's just like, this man probably, you know, like, I couldn't imagine the levels. I don't know. And they just kind of like, bro, yeah, I don't know. That's all I got anyway.
I was just saying, Raven, don't piss me off because I just, I just, I think what in the grand scheme of things, when I'm thinking about activists and activism and people die for this. You know what I'm saying? And it's life or death. Like what people fight for, like it might not be in America to the extent of like the war in Gaza or the genocide in Gaza, but daily people are, even with me when I think about black women and like wanting to shed light on like the oppression of black women. And it's like, oh, it's not that serious. I even in my own work of black women advocacy and what? Okay, what is the word that is an activist does blank? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an an advocate advocates.
Yeah.
What does an ad?
I feel like, but I feel like they advocate too. No, that's what I was thinking.
I know they do advocate, but what's the word?
That would be a play off of that word. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it may not. It may be one. I just don't know it because I feel like activists advocate for causes. That's how I would always say it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what would the other one be? Activate. Right? Wouldn't it be like
I said activate in my video on accident, and somebody was like, "That was so good," and I was like, "That was on accident."
I mean, I think that what activists activate. Yeah, they would have to be somewhat. Yeah. But go ahead though.
Yeah, I don't know what the word is. But like just thinking about not being that serious for black women, and it's just like, no, it is that serious because this is life or death. Like us joking around of like I was able to like see all the things that my sisters have done and not do them. No, I have also seen all the oppressions and all the things that they have went through as black women in this country. And as I've grown up, I can point to the racism and sexism and fat phobia and all the things that have gotten them to where they at. And I can do the opposite, or I can learn from and also realize that this is life or death.
Yeah.
Like their quality of life and the quality of life of black women is substantially lower than some people because simply they're black women. So it is that serious. You know what I'm saying? And I think like just thinking about Dr. Lamont Hill just sitting on that like couch, it's kind of like they probably like, bro, you know what I mean? Like it's not that deep. And just thinking about like how can somebody like Dr. Marc Lamont Hill have any issue or depression or like sadness or whatever because you're a doctor and you're on these podcasts, you're on these have these platforms and books and et cetera, and it's like this stuff hurts the hearts of the people who actually want to do the work.
Of course.
And then you have him talking about like his friends, his colleagues in a country where the whole population is just getting wiped out and the people are reporting on, and literally, I mean, up until they were on the internet talking about like, I'm still here, but I know that my days are numbered. You know what I'm saying? And for them to be killed, it's kind of like, A, they're people. B, they, even though we're in this horrible country, like they don't have journalists can still journalism. They can still report.
That's
you know
real.
what I'm saying? We to some extent still have freedom of speech, and we can talk about the things we want to talk about, and these people cannot do, like, you know what I'm saying? People in other countries do not have the same freedoms as us, and it's like, can you step yourself back out of your music pod, because Joe Budden's podcast is a music pod? Can you step yourself out of this for a moment and have some empathy towards people who are dying for simply existing?
Yeah. You just made me think about a thought. Think about it. How about we all live and exist in our lanes and respect them for that? So, for example, you made me think, going to Samira for a second. Cardi and everybody else who was frustrated, who were, frustrated at everybody else who were frustrated at her perspective or her coming out. this girl is an expert in that space, and she's an
Right.
advocate in that space, and she's an activist in that space. At a very minimum, even if you're the most ignorant about anything historic, we all know the role of and the effectiveness of activism and activists in our community specifically. We don't even got to talk about nobody else, but historically, we know how important activists are. So at a very minimum, when activists speak about the specific thing that they've been advocating for, fighting for, studying exhaustively while you've been at your parties and dancing and kicking it and happy-go-lucky in your blissful ignorance, no shade there, because you heard my politic earlier. While you've been there, they've been here fighting on your behalf, fighting for people that would actually condemn her and talk trash about her.
Right.
And so at a very minimum, I'm not saying that you always have to agree. I'm not saying you have to necessarily even feel that the level of passion that they have for the specific area is even worthy. You don't have to do any of that. But you know the history and importance of activists and activism. So when they speak, be at attention a little bit more keenly and be like, either say, I'm gonna back off, or I'm gonna engage intellectually, or I'm gonna do more work, or whatever. But it don't have to be met with vitriol, considering what we know about activism. Like, again, but that goes back to what I was saying earlier about, let's just evolve. Like, I'm so tired of, like, I'm like, and evolution can also include the ignorant folk too. Like, we don't have to even talk about this in the context of, well, we just gonna do it and the others don't. Evolution is for everybody, because guess what? Whether you at 1 or you at 10, evolution means maybe you gonna move to 2 and I'm gonna move to 11, but we all still moving. So let's just move a little bit. No, okay, Joe Budden, y'all don't have to become a politics podcast, because we do love hip hop podcasts. I subscribe to him and I pay for the Patreon. I probably should cut that off. I like Joe Budden podcast. I really do.
Raven.
I do. I enjoy the Joe Budden podcast. No. I have thoughts. But I pay for Kingaree's podcast. Patreon. I pay for Harriet Patreon. I pay for Jesse Wu's Patreon. I'm spending too much money. That's really the takeaway. Right. The real takeaway is, girl, that's why you ain't got no house. But because whatever. Some days I do be like, why? Whatever. But anyway, so everybody exists in your lane, and we're all standing on the shoulders of the giants, the activists, the do too much people, quote unquote,
right,
that come before us. So at a very minimum, wherever we're evolving from when we're in this process of evolution, it can be with a recognition and a reverence for what we know is true about how we move forward. And so even when you disagree, shut the hell up, or learn something and then engage and disagree cogently, rather than just being like, shut the fuck up. That Cardi thing. Boy, when I finally heard it, I was like, I saw that thing you reposted on TikTok when the girl was like, that will be the equivalent of coming out and saying, if you had a makeup brand and all the dark skinned girls bought your makeup brand first, why are you dark hoes or something? She said, I forgot what she said. Are you darkies buying it? Like how horrific that would sound and how much you would be canceled immediately. It is the same thing. And how dare you be mad that people are buying your product? Are you joking? Like, so anyway, yeah.
And then we didn't even get to the part of it that it probably wasn't that many plus sizes available in the first place, because they don't make that many plus size, like when they make like things like that. So if it was like 100 smalls, it was probably 10 3Xs, and they were sold out.
That's a good point.
Like,
that's a good point.
I was also, what was you saying? Oh, when you were saying something that made me think about, like, at some point you saying be quiet or engage, like, but engage from a informed place, but also at some point you just have to yield to the expert, like, and then also to common decency of like, okay, Cardi, that was just mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have moved on, or we're at least trying to move on from the bullying and mean things. Like if people say, hey, I don't like, we as a collective, or some of us in this collective, or the majority of us in this collective say we don't like to be called this, or we don't like to be talked to like this, or like that, like, stop. Like it's mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of like, but what I said on the I don't know where, I think I might have said this in my video on here, like people just want to be able to still laugh at something or laugh at somebody. And that's what I said on my video that I made on TikTok, is that the joke is no longer the people, the joke is the oppression. You know what I'm saying? The joke is that, you still believe in this in 2025? Like, you still believe we should talk to people like this? That's the joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should be making the joke so shame. We should not be, because that's also like being able to look beyond the individual. Like, we, in every situation or every piece of oppression, we blame the person instead of we blaming the system. The joke is us joking on the system. When are we gonna start roasting the system?
Yes.
Like, and that's when that's where the joke comes in. And I think we have to stop with, well, I want to still be able to laugh, and it's too much, and and everything is so, we gotta be so politically correct about everything. The pivot again with, like, when they were saying when somebody was critiquing Melissa Ford, there is no pivot. The pivot is towards the oppression. We cannot continue to pivot away from it. It is everywhere you go, and if you continue to try to ignore it, it's going to keep coming to you. So at some point, you're going to either have to learn about it or shut up and let the experts lead the conversations.
Oh, that's so good. Can I just, on that point, I'm going to just take it 2 steps further. To the extent that people say, because I hear people's thoughts already. We pivot because what we gonna do about it? We're powerless in this system. The more I think about Gaza, is my thoughts going to make it magically go away? I got you.
The white man's Kool-Aid.
That part. But no. I got you. The more we keep pivoting, the more the basic populace. When I say basic, I mean the people that stream. Like the people who watch streamers all day, the people who sit and doom scroll all day, the people who just casually listen to mindless content all day long. The more we consistently pivot, the less and less uneducated, or the more and more uneducated, rather, the populace becomes or continues to be. And so I see the argument of, like, people just want to exist in fodder and mindlessness. And guess what? I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Because 97% of the time people do exist in that space. And so then the other 3%, the places where people exist in that mindless thinking, like a Joe Budden podcast, like a whatever, let's go ahead and just use that 3%, since we all have started, going back to my analogy earlier, we all start on the basis of, man, Harriet Tubman them did their thing so that we could be here. Martin Luther King them did their thing so that we can. If we all start at that baseline, the most mindless to the most mindful all understand that that is the baseline premise of where all Black people come from, and the reason why we have such liberations that we do today. Relatively, of course. Okay, if we're all starting from there, I'm not trying to take your good time. I'm not trying to take your dance. I'm not trying to take none of that. What I'm saying is, out of your 100%, give me 2 or 3 to spend some time on something that is thoughtful, even if it's just out of admiration and reverence for what your ancestors did, and listen to the experts, as you just said, and give some real thought to things that are substantive that can actually make a difference in, for example, the Target boycott, right? Yeah, we're not going to go and change Gaza today. But if at a very minimum, we can get everybody at least 2 or 3% on the same page, if we can get everybody, the mindless people, the mindful people, to at least share in the same 2 or 3% of thought about substantive things, about protest things, about advocacy things, then we can make some progress. Are we going to change the complete, absolute, every part of the corner of the world? We're not. But could we potentially make Target stock go down by 45%? Yeah, I think we've proven that we could. So I'm not asking you to go change the world, mindless person. Just come over here for 2 seconds. Damn. Sorry.
No, I think even with the Target boycott, that's a prime example. Like, everybody wasn't on board with that, but it's like the expert said, stop shopping at Target. we stopped shopping at Target. Now Ulta is pulling their mini stores out of Target, and Target's going to be Kmart. Okay?
I didn't hear about
They
that.
just announced that they're, yeah, I just saw it like this evening. They're pulling 600 mini stores out of Target. So it like, listen to the experts, but also the collective has to be on the same page that we want to be free and that we are in chains. So they can, but again, like when you get to the okay, so if we have the big thing of like of racism, we start getting into these integral things of like everything's racist, and we get to fat phobia, and that's racist. Like it's like everything can't be racist. No, everything is racist.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is tied up in racism and patriarchy, everything. Like, and yes, it gets annoying to think about this all day long, and it's because we live in an oppressive society that is rooted in like multiple oppressions at one time.
And also it's annoying for you, respectfully, because we're gonna talk a little pejorative tonight, but we got to be honest. It's annoying for all of us. Let's be clear. But I mean, oh, see, y'all doing too much. No, it's too much if your brain can't handle a whole bunch of information. So go sit back down. We'll call you when it's time to give you the consensus of what the plan is. But concede, young man. Concede, young lady. Like I'm dead. This is why I be saying all the time, I can't wait to be 43. People be thinking I'm joking. But in part, this is some of the reason too, because go have a seat and we'll let you know when the adults have decided what the plan is. Like that.
Right.
I'm not even playing. That sounds crazy. Right. But like for real.
So I do, that's part of the why I have a problem with like people who fight for particular types of oppression, and like they want to fight against racism and stand up against it and blah blah blah. You ain't got a full scope of it. And granted, when I started, I didn't have a full scope of it, but I also knew when I was a little bit out of my depth. Yes, so I closed my mouth and listened to the people who knew more about a particular subject than I did. And it's just like, if you can't, just bow down. If you can't talk about it, just stop talking. My bad. You got it. I'm sorry.
Everybody wants to be we're stuck in the expert trap. The more you know, the biggest thing, every degree that I've gone after, every whatever, I'd be like, "Ooh, I don't be knowing nothing." I be going in. I tell people this all the time. This is a random example of that. I used to, when I first started my first year of grad school, I took a relationship therapy class, whatever, and I was like, I don't believe there is. Just even saying it right now, it's hilarious. I used to literally believe, now I'm a marriage and family therapist. Like I love it, and I have so many perspectives about it now. But my original thought about marriage specifically therapy was, it ain't nothing communication can't solve. I used to really think every marriage could be healed with just some words. Like you can communicate your way through everything. And obviously, as I went through school and started to do the work, girl, I don't think there's any less true statement. So the point is, and I say that because how that correlates to here, obviously, is that the more you get to know, you be like, girl, shut the hell up. Shut up. Shut up. Girl, shut up. Ugh. Like, I want to punch myself for all the things I thought that, girl, but guess what though? That takes humility. And I'm unafraid to say that. And I'm unafraid to concede to the experts because, one, I don't want the pressure of what they got, because the more you know, then the more responsibility you got. And so we riding on your perspective, babe. We riding on the knowledge that you shared you got. When you really know stuff, you be like, let somebody else get that. Let somebody else do it, because that's a lot of responsibility to be the knower. That's one. And then two, because I know that underneath my hood, it's packed. And when it's my time, I'm going to have to give my perspective and my account. So I don't need to feel bad for not knowing everything, because the more I be knowing, the more I be like, dang, it's so much to know. So if you trying to walk around like you got, and you can shut down and tell experts. And I found out she went to Harvard, Samira.
Harvard.
I didn't respectfully, y'all.
I wouldn't even argue with her.
But look, exactly. But look, wait. But these be the same people, and I give them credit. These be the same people that scream Black excellence and share the posts like, "Oh, this Black girl did," and then when that Black girl try to give her perspective, shut the hell up.
She didn't learn nothing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but I literally had the same thought. Like, oh girl, I forgot what the thought was, but it was something along those lines of like, oh, it was when I was thinking about my calling. Like I think we already talked about this. When you go to school, you automatically get kicked out of spaces because your calling is never mind. Erase that. Clip that out.
Okay.
Cut that out. But yes, like I do think people go to school and they just get a hat
for the picture
and they don't learn nothing. Yeah.
For the picture.
They learned something. You know what I'm saying? They learned something.
And it's not a coincidence. I was talking to my friend recently, because I was like, he live in like a really white town, and I was like, it's in Iowa, and I was like, what did I say? I was like, oh, I'm in Hicksville. Like I was making some jokes. I was like, oh, you want me to come out to Hicksville? I don't know about that. Da da da. And then he was like, oh no, it's a university town. No, trust me, this is liberal city. And I thought about it. He was saying it like as a pejorative, like in a funny way, but like, oh no, this liberal city, this is a university town. They walk around and da 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 da, you know. And then I thought about it because I'm deep. I'm one of those mindful people. And I thought about it and I was like, right. Because the more people spend time where books are, the more they are more accepting and loving and open-minded and open-armed, if you will, to humans, right? And like, think about that. You can say that that's annoying all day long, but the more educated people get, the more tolerant and empathetic they get. Like the way that we've made that a bad thing, the way that we turn that into like this, bros. You talking about humans who care about other humans? Are y'all okay? The more dumb you are, the more lack of reading you do have, whatever, the more you hate people. You can more easily hate people and not be considerate of people's plights. Like, bruh, green is black, orange is blue, the sun is down, the bottom is up. Like, yeah. Dang.
I was also going to say that it is by design, obviously, that like, so like with you even saying like, I don't shame the people who don't want to tap in, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot to, if you want to doom scroll and not listen to this stuff, cool. But so I understand like by design, like everybody's not going to like have a expert opinion or like have an understanding or a desire to, oh, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
To get free. Okay, so I was thinking about this today. Like, the friends that I'm meeting in this season are, I was thinking about like when you was talking about like when I was thinking about this idea of like who do we joke about, blah blah blah, and it's too much. And it's like people don't know how to live from a place of without a place of trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like when you're meeting friends in a place that if you're in a healed space or you're in a less trauma filled space, and it's like, dang, how do I bond to people? Because usually I'm like talking about this and that, and like, what do we do if we just like happy? Like, what happens when we don't like have bad things to talk about all day, or like, what happens when there is no oppression existing, or like what? But also, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
100%. 100%.
Yeah. And I think, and it does happen when we start. I was just gonna say that we do start becoming more liberal or liberated when we start reading more books and becoming more empathetic towards people. But it's just like, dang, like, then what?
What do I always say, Marc? It's living in the adjustment. God made us really cool in that we are designed to we want to survive. We really do. And so at every turn we will do what is necessary to survive. And what that eventually ends up looking like is, it don't matter how dire or horrific the situation is, you're going to adapt because we want to survive. We are so desperate to survive. I mean, the species, And anyway, so as a result of that, we just pivot and we adjust, whatever we got to do to survive. And so even if the like I said, the situation was horrible, you never learned how to love, you never learned how to be kind and caring because the circumstances didn't give you the opportunity to be that way. you didn't stop being in relationships, or you didn't stop. I mean, maybe in some instances you didn't stop engaging with people. What you just did was just your bot inadvertently, like unconsciously, you just started making comments or adjusting and talking like the environment rather than doing the thing that you actually needed for your heart to feel good and thriving. A good example of that, really, really quick. My mom was telling us a couple of Sundays ago about how didn't nobody come to her high school graduation. Nobody came to her 8th grade graduation. She just, celebrating each other just wasn't a thing in her family. Fast forward to us, to this day, people that I've dated, some of my mentors, they'd be like, Raven, why you didn't tell me? Raven, that's such a big, Raven, why you didn't? And I'm like, we don't do all that. Like, we just do things in our family. So much so, and then come to find out it was from my mom and how she grew up. And then even now, so much so, trying to, we be trying to like, oh, I have to speak at this, da, da, da. And if that feels more uncomfortable for me to tell people stuff that I have to do and or celebrate things, whatever, celebratory things, rather than the thing that should feel the most comfortable, which is, of course, people who love you should be there for you and be like, rah, rah, accomplishment, you go, girl. But it feels more comfortable for me to not be loved and supported rather than is. So yeah, we'll adjust to anything so as to keep surviving. But we can and should do better. That's my point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What is
So
yes, tell me.
I think that's I think I think I can wrap up in the what why does this matter in a hard
Yeah.
segment. Um I think it matters to me is that when you have a heart to truly see people liberated from oppression, and we just can't all make a mass exodus to another country. Because I've also thought about that. Just leave the country. My family ain't leaving this country. So then what, right? Um, what do we do? We try to fight for more humane ways of living, and try to fight for people to have their thoughts and feelings heard. And that's so crazy to me. Like, at the basis of what it is, it's just people want to be treated fairly, like regardless of like what they're complaining about, quote unquote. Um, and it's just like, bro, if somebody just says you're hurting me, you hurting my arm, like you hurting me, like stop hurting them. Like that's it.
That's
You know what I'm
it.
saying?
That's
Like,
it.
so yeah, I think that's why it matters to me. Just activist, keep activating, keep fighting the good fight.
Please, we need
Keep
you.
being annoying.
We need you.
Yeah,
That's a good PSA actually that we could probably tag somewhere. Activists, we need you. And I know that kind of what we said to Candace that week. I know that the world don't often get flowers in real time, and that is just historically true. But we want you to know that we are a pro-activist channel and a pro-activist pod, and we appreciate your hard work and dedication, despite how the world treats you in real time. Your greatness is revered even now, just may not be as loud as you deserve. But that is the work of this sort of thing that you do. So we appreciate you. I think it matters to me because actually I'm going to do it in a different way. Reason number 550,011 million why I'm a Christian is because I really want you audience, right, to reckon with it's easier to do the bad things and to think the bad things and to gravitate toward the bad and mean harsh things to people rather than it is to gravitate to the good things and to the things that build people up and empower people and make people feel good about themselves. We actively and like vehemently fight to hurt people's feelings rather than to do the opposite, essentially. Well, how does that relate to Christianity, Raven? Because my faith tells me that something happened to disrupt and corrupt our nature. Something in your nature makes you feel like the easier thing to do is resort to hurting people's feelings, so much so that you'll fight for it and get mad at people for fighting that people's feelings don't get hurt. And it's not, and like, I'm gonna not put too many words there. something had to have happened to disrupt that. We fight for negativity and condemn positivity on a mass scale. Something's wrong with us, but it's not inherent. It's not intentional. It's inherent. It's innate. Like our very makeups was disrupted by something. And I have to even believe that too, because y'all mad that this girl said, don't call people fat and disgusting. Please don't, because it hurts their feelings. Y'all are sick. We're all sick though. And all I'm saying is take your meds. So that's why it matters for me.
Yeah. I think I do have a good book suggestion.
Love it.
Because of all this discourse. I went to the Barnes and Noble today. This isn't why I went to the Barnes and Noble. I went to the store to get the book for our book club and walked out with like $100 worth of books. And
don't we love them girls? Don't we love those girls? Give her a hand, WOTA. Give her. We need our soundboard.
Yeah. I need to put that on my to-do list. The thing is, though, I walked out with this book. Now I'm listening to it on the Libby app for free through the library. But I bought it because I do read better when I'm reading and listening at the same time. So I'm trying to take notes, but at the same time, I'm literally just listening to the book. Anyway, I'm 2 hours in, and it's great. It's called Reclaiming the Black Body, and she puts herself in a lineage of other books called Fearing the Black Body, and there's one more. I didn't mean to pick this up. I just saw it. They probably saw the TikTok discourse and put it out front. But but the first part of the book, she's talking. It's probably Alicia McCullough. I'm really bad with reading, y'all. Like, I'm really bad with names. But Alicia, and she has started a revolution called Black and Embodied. And the thing is, I think that a big part of what she's talking about is what, even with like when I was talking about purity culture, is like the separation between soul and spirit, body and spirit. And we separate ourselves so much from our disconnect with our body. Like, she's talking about disordered eating with Black girls and Black women and femmes, and how we have been taught to ignore every sign in our body because of slavery. And you just keep working past the pain. You keep pushing past, and we start to ignore our bodies and ignore our cues and et cetera, et cetera. So we just constantly in the state of just like not being in tune with our bodies. And I think that, like, it's to this conversation, we live so much in a space where we don't know how traumatized we are by the things that we have gone through, to the point where it's just like, if somebody said it, like, if somebody says it's mean, just take it as it's mean. Like, just because, like, because even Cardi even said, like, in one of her points, is that people talk about my BB all the time. Just because somebody talks about you and you push past your pain, do not mean I have to do the same thing. You easily could have also said, that hurt my feelings. Can you stop? You know what I'm saying? But we ignore our bodies so much that it's just like, I expect you also to ignore what you are going through for my joke to hit or whatever. And it's just like, no, like, it's what I'm feeling in my body is like, oh, I don't like that, and I'm gonna name that. So I'm gonna read this because I want to read it, because I do think I have disordered eating. And I'm just like, she actually doesn't call it disordered eating, because she's like, that's a white term. She calls it eating imbalance. She calls it eating imbalance.
I love that.
And imbalanced eating. I recently just started trying to like count my calories, and for the sake of like, I want to lose weight, but in a healthy way, and I want to focus on my protein. And I am focusing on my protein, because I know we need protein to live. I know we need carbs to live. I know we need fat to live. And I have been focusing on my fiber, and I've been getting 20 to 30 grams, sometimes 40 grams of fiber, and never been so regular in my life. Okay. But that's a rarity for me. So I'm like, I do want to like actually be well. And I want to read this so that because she also has exercises and stuff. So I do want to see like if I could read something like this and actually like create a wellness, like a true being of like, can I truly be well, you know, and not keep running circles. Actually a poem, maybe. Ooh, literally, oh my gosh. Okay, maybe I'll actually say the poem. Okay, on today.
Patreon.
But Patreon.
I didn't mean to say. I just thought about it. I was like, I didn't even mean to say it because I know that's gonna be our announcement. But go ahead.
But yeah, so one of the poems that I've written is basically like Black girls who run marathons to try to like basically shapeshift their bodies into like what is desirable for. And that's so crazy because I was hitting on these topics 4 or 5, probably more than 4 or 5 years ago, and didn't even know what I was really talking about. But like, yeah. So, anywho,
because it's not a theory for
wanna...
you, it's your life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we've institutions have theorized it, which is good, but like the real lived like not character whatever person, that's where it actually counts, and this is where you should derive. That's such a good example right there of why you should actually listen to people rather than just thinking that you know the things. But yeah.
So that's my book suggestion for the week, is Reclaiming
Nice.
the Black Body, Nourishing the Home Within.
I love it. No, you got it. I don't. You got it. I'll let. That's the one. That's the one.
Okay, cool.
I don't have a What the Girl's Saying this week. Do you have a What the Girl's Saying?
I do actually have a couple. So, one of the girls, Abby, was like, I love y'all's chemistry. Like, because I told her to watch one of the episodes, and she was like, y'all's chemistry is like really good. And I was like, well, I think we've grown for real into our chemistry bag.
Definitely.
And I think once we get over the delay in the internet, it'll be even better. But like,
yes.
Yeah, our chemistry is chemistry.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. And then Marvin was like, he's not a girl, but that's a feedback.
The
like,
girls really mean, the girl means like homies. Like, I mean, girls, but also the homies.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And he was like, y'all do really, he's like, keep it up. You're doing so good. And he's the one that said you should start sharing your poetry on the pod. And I was like, oh,
yes.
He shared one of my poems to his class, and he's a teacher. And he shared one of my poems to the my Hustle Different poem. Where I was rapping about student loans. So I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
I love it. Anyway, no, that's fire. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear he watched it too. That makes me happy, actually.
I don't know if he said he watched the clips.
I mean, but either way, that's, right. You know, honestly, that's most people that I like, not most, every now and then I do get a girly who be like, girl, I got 20. And when you said that, I was like, oh no, you caught that in the AP, baby. Ain't no way you heard that anywhere else. So, yeah, but no, that's good. That's good. I'll take it. Okay, we did heart. We did, ooh, look at us. We did them all. Anything else on your thoughts?
No. Yeah, this is a good episode.
It was. Makes me happy. All things considered, y'all don't be knowing how much. See, we're going to edit it so flawlessly. Y'all don't be knowing just how much we be going through it. These 1 hour episodes be 3 hours long.
I looked up and did 40 minutes again.
I'm trying to tell you all that. Like, especially real quick on that chemistry thing. You said right. Because because the chemistry gets good, I was going to say gooder and gooder, it's getting better and better. They're longer now. And so now I'm like, oh, like the editing, I'll be like, oh, I'll be really editing now. We back to that. But it's fun. I love it though. I love it. Okay, family, we love you so much. Bye.
Bye.
You got it. Girl.